If you play cards for money, you risk being cheated. In this video, I'm going to give you 10 practical steps that you can take to avoid card cheating. Let's begin. Hi, I'm Jeremy Tan. For the past 25 years, I've been a professional magician and sleight of hand expert. Over the years, I've educated people on why you should not gamble with strangers. If you have ever seen any of my videos online, you know exactly what I mean. Because when it comes to card cheating, knowledge is your best advantage. Let's begin with step 1. Always open a new deck of cards. Not just a brand new deck of cards, but a brand new deck of cards that is open in front of everybody. Now, the reason for that is because if you play with a used deck, you have no idea of its history. There could be special things that are done to it. There could be missing cards. There could be extra cards. So opening a brand new deck in front of everybody will remove all these doubts. And if you hear excuses such as, oh, this is my favorite deck of cards, this deck is better, use mine, or this is my lucky deck of cards, I just bought this deck last week, oh, it's okay, I shuffled the cards already, that kind of stuff, they should all be considered red flags. And here's what you should do before opening the cards. First, ensure that the cellophane on the top, on the bottom, and on the sides have not been tampered with. Next, you can open the cards like so. Next, before removing, check that this has not been tampered with as well, the sticker or the seal, and as well as the bottom of the box. Okay, make sure there's no funny things going around here as well. Now you can open this seal. With the cards in your hands, now let's move to step 2, checking the cards. After taking them out of the box, you have to remove any of the jokers or any of the advertisement cards and put them away. Next thing you want to do is to spread the cards on the table and let everyone check that the cards come in the brand new deck order. Ace to King of Spades, Ace to King of Diamonds, King to Ace of Clubs, and King to Ace of Hearts. Ensuring that every single card in numerical order is all there. Okay, that's very important to check that there are no missing cards or extra cards. Since everyone has checked that all the cards are here, now let's move on to step 3. Inspecting the deck. Next, you want to spread the cards on the table like this and perform a table wash, mixing the cards, spreading them out thinly and mixing the cards out like this, taking some of the cards from the top and tossing them into the middle or tossing them into the bottom, okay? And you do this for about 5 to 10 seconds. After that, you take all the cards, square them up, and you can spread them out to show that the cards are really well mixed like this, okay? Next thing you want to do is the edge check, where you check the edge for any discrepancies, such as any protruding cards, any crimps or bends, or any warping of the playing cards, okay? And then one more thing to do is a riffle test, okay, where you riffle the cards this way to spot and see if there are any other discrepancies such as marks or anything like that. Because if the cards are marked, then this will give advantage to any of the players. I'm pretty sure that you have no idea what you're looking out for, so let me show you. So I'm going to use these 2 jokers to demonstrate. The first one is a corner crimp. Okay, what I'm doing is that I'm pressing down on the corner of this joker like so. So you can see that the corner is bent like this. Okay, and what it does is that it can mark the location as to where the other player that you are in cahoots with to cut. All right. So that's one of them, which means if the cards are on the table like this, I can just cut this way, complete the cut, and I can cut to the joker, which means I can get access to any card that I want. The second one has also some work in it already, okay? And if I cut the cards this way, you can barely see anything, but if I loosen the grip ever so slightly, that's where the cards will split, like so. All right, so same thing, I can just place the cards on the table like this and cut the cards this way, complete the cut. I'll get the joker, which is right next to the ace. Next is a shaved cut, so let me just put them together so you can see exactly what I mean, okay? If you look very carefully here, you will see that the cards are shaved off ever so slightly like this, okay? The cards are squared in this corner, but it's shaved off here, look. Right? So what this does is that if I were to place this card here like this, yeah, you will see it sticking out like that ever so slightly. All right, so imagine if these are the 4 aces, I can very easily control them anywhere I want. So the next thing is a shortcut. Okay, shortcut is exactly what the name suggests. Okay, if you look very carefully at this edge over here, you can see that it is slightly shorter than a regular card like this. Okay, the bottom is squared with the other card, but on top It is ever so slightly shortened or shaved down like this, okay? What this does is that if I were to place it inside a deck like so, you'll be able to see it like this, okay? You see this line over here near the top of the deck, right? Which means that every time I riffle the cards, I can riffle directly to the short card, okay? I can cut it even deeper, doesn't matter. I can riffle from the back and I can get to the short card like this, okay? Which will allow me to control any card that I want to anywhere that I like. Now let's talk about mug decks. These might look the same from the boxes and even from the backs, but there is a hidden secret. If you watch very carefully, this is a regular deck of bicycle rider back cards, and this is a mug deck, okay? If I put them side by side, can you tell the difference? If you see it, good for you, but again, you should have no idea what it means. So if you look very carefully, you will see that on this border itself, right, it's a straight line, but on this one, the border has some markings in it like that, okay? So if I were to take a regular bicycle deck of cards and start riffling them, you won't see any discrepancies, okay? And this one, if you look carefully, did you see that? I'll do it again. So once you learn how to read the markings, this is the mug deck that I was using earlier on, okay? You can also shuffle the cards, doesn't matter, give it a few cuts, and if I were to run through the deck like so, I should be able to find the 4 aces quite easily as well. So just give me a second and I'll demonstrate this to you. So this is ace number 1, okay? And then we have, let's see, this is of course ace number 2 and 3, okay? And one more ace coming right up over here, okay? And that is all 4 aces. This one is a different back from the bicycle cards, okay? So let's take a look. Did you see a discrepancy? One more time. How about now? If not, here it is. That is 3H, right? Which represents 3 of hearts here. Next one, AH, ace of hearts, okay? And then we have this one, JC, jack of clubs. And it's not just here, it is also on this side. And regardless of the orientation of the deck, it is also on this side and this side. This one is very similar to the bicycle rider back, right? In fact, it is also made by Bicycle, and it says maiden back, okay? And one more time, the riffle test. You see it? Right? If you don't, it's right over here. That is jack of hearts, clearly printed on there, okay? And again, orientation doesn't matter. Here, and also on the side. J and hearts, right? Here also J and hearts, and on the other side, same thing, J and hearts, J and hearts. This one, ace of diamonds, okay, see? This one, 6 of clubs, very clear. So if I were to cut to a random deck like this and place one card here, even from a distance, you should be able to tell that this is the 4 of clubs. That's the mug decks. Now you have some basic knowledge on how to check the cards, inspect the deck, and look out for crimps, shave cards, short cards, and even mug decks. To be honest, this is just the tip of the iceberg, because if you just simply Google mug decks, there's tons of them in the market. Advanced marking systems are also available using special ink that requires special glasses or even special contact lenses that cannot be seen by the naked eye. So be careful out there. Now let's take a look at the next step, shuffling procedures. So once everyone is satisfied with the cards, you can now openly shuffle the deck. Now, a simple shuffle procedure that everyone can follow is much better, okay? A simple shuffle procedure would be a table wash, followed by 2 riffle shuffles, followed by a strip cut, followed by 1 more riffle shuffle, and a straight cut. Here, I have this card, it's called a cut. I'll come back to this in a bit, okay? But for now, this is how the shuffle procedure would look like, right? You spread the cards on the table and mix them up like this, about 5 to 10 seconds, okay? Mixing the cards up like that, taking some cards and tossing them into the middle, like so. shuffle. And when the dealer picks up the cards, make sure that the faces are facing away from the dealer, okay, meaning facing the players. If the cards are facing the dealer or the card cheat could potentially track the cards that he or she wants, okay. So remember, the cards are always facing away from the dealer, all right? Once the cards are squared, next is the riffle shuffle, okay? Do a table riffle shuffle, that way you can prevent any cards from showing to other players. If you do this kind of a riffle shuffle, you can actually see the cards. The players can actually see the cards, okay? So always do a table riffle shuffle. And one thing to note about the table riffle shuffle is this, all right? When you cut the cards this way, this is the top card, it always has to be buried underneath, okay? It cannot stay on top, because if the cards are like this, I can just keep shuffling the cards this way and maintain the 10 of diamonds on top, okay? So it's important to always bury the top card like this, okay? All right, so after the table wash, 2 riffle shuffles, that's 1, that's 2, followed by a strip cut. Picking up the cards this way, starting from the top, you pick up small packet of cards, place it on the table like this, about 3 or 4 times. Once that is done, 1 more riffle shuffle, okay? And then using a cut card, place it here, cut the cards, and then complete the card. If you like, you could also hand the cut card to somebody or one of the players. They can insert it anywhere that they like, okay? And then you can just cut to the cut card and complete the card. That way, you can continue dealing for your next game. There are many advantages to using a cut card. One of them is to prevent the dealer from accidentally flashing or showing the bottom card to the other players, okay? The dealer might not be a card cheat, but accidentally looking at his watch or something like that, accidentally flash the bottom card to any of the players, which will gain them knowledge, okay, of the whatever card they need. Say, for example, if they really needed a spade or a king, they know that this will not be in their hands, okay? So having a cut card will prevent that, okay? Another thing a cut card can do is a little bit more advanced, but it looks something like this. Say, for example, the king of spades is the card I want to control. Potentially, when you cut the cards this way, it will then be buried in the middle of the deck. With me so far? Good. Now, what the card cheat can do is to nullify the cut, okay? Meaning, without a cut card, cards are cut this way. When the cards are completed like that, I can nullify the card and bring the king back to the top, okay? Which will then gain me control or advantage, all right? Of course, with the cut card, it is impossible to do that, right? Because if you cut the cards this way, complete the card, even if you perform a move, the cut card will then be in the middle, which doesn't make sense at all. You understand? So that's one of the ways that you can prevent the card cheat from nullifying the card, okay? Another use for the cut card is, of course, to prevent any bottom dealing, all right? If you're not familiar with bottom dealing, let me explain to you, all right? So I'll put the cut card away. Here I have the 4 aces. Okay, I'm going to leave them face up and I'll place them on the bottom of the deck, okay? And without a cut card, I can then deal out the cards to the other players like this and deal the aces for myself, okay? I can look at you, I can talk to you, and I can still do the dirty work, right? So, many users for a cut card. They are very inexpensive. You can just Google cut cards and they're like 5 for like $2 or maybe $1.50, something like that. So yeah, cut cards. Now let's look at dealing procedures. One important rule when dealing the cards is that the top of the deck must always be visible to all the players, okay? The dealer shouldn't hold the cards this way, all right? It should be dealt this way, like this, with the top of the deck is always visible to all the players, all right? And the reason for that is this, okay? Say, for example, I want the ace of spades, right? And, you know, if I were to necktie the cards like this or tilt it towards myself, I could be dealing other cards instead of dealing the ace and keeping the ace for myself, okay? So what I'm actually doing is I'm actually dealing the second card from the top like this, okay? You understand this theory? You know, unless you meet somebody like me, then you're screwed, right? Because I can leave the ace face up and the deck is open and I can still be doing the dirty work. And if I leave the ace face down, I don't think you will stand a chance against me, okay? So, one of the best ways or the safest ways to actually deal cards is to, after the shuffling procedure and the cut cards and all that, is to keep the deck on the table like this, okay, holding the cards this way with your index finger pressing on top of the deck and sliding the cards to the players like this, okay. This will ensure that no cheating is involved whatsoever. Another thing to note is the discard pile or the burn cards. Say, for example, now we're in a game of Texas Hold'em and these two players fold, right? These cards will go face down, it cannot be shown to anybody, into an isolated position or location where it's away from other players and even the dealer and all that, okay? It must be at an isolated location that everyone knows. In Texas Hold'em, before the flop, turn and river, one card has to be burnt, so you burn one card and it stays in that discard pile, followed by the flop, okay? 3 cards turned over like this, right? And then burn 1 card for the turn and then burn 1 card for the river. So the cards always stay in the discard pile like this to make it very clear distinction that these cards are not in play. Once they are burnt or discarded, they are gone forever, right? So they stay there. And then after the game, you can then pick up all the cards together, put them back together, do the whole shuffling procedure of the table wash and all that kind of thing, and then deal for your next game, right? So now, let's take a look at step 6, player rules. The rules for the players are really simple. Once the cards are dealt on the table, they have to stay visible at all times on the table. That's it, okay? They can view the cards this way, right? They can also turn the cards over like this and view the cards this way. Avoid allowing people to turn the cards over this way and exposing the cards to other players, giving them information and all that kind of thing. It is also not advisable to allow people to take the cards off the table and look at the table and look at the cards like this, okay? And of course, the worst one is to allow people to take the cards and place them underneath the table and then they look at the cards this way, okay? Because anything can happen. They can be switching cards, they can be marking them, giving them crimps and all that kind of thing, okay? So it's important that the cards stay visible on the table at all times. Now let's look at the next step, rotating the dealer. Here are some reasons why you should rotate the dealer frequently. First and foremost, it's not because that they will cheat, but because they can, okay? Remember, the dealer sees, touches, and handles the cards before anyone else, which means this already gives them extra information and opportunity. So an example would be this, okay? Say, for example, we just finished a game that we just dealt, and these are the hands, okay? And then now I spot an ace that I could potentially use for the next game. If the dealer has information of that, they can then pick up the cards this way, okay? Take the ace, put it on top, right? And if this home game does not have any shuffling procedures like a cut card and it doesn't follow any shuffling procedure, I can then, with a little bit of skill, shuffle and control the cards to anywhere I want. And because I've been dealing for a long time, I know that this player over here doesn't like to cut the cards. So I can just offer the cards to be cut and they say, oh no, go ahead. And then now I can have the ace back to the top and I can deal it to myself or deal it to an accomplice, okay? So that's one thing. Also in Singapore, during the festive seasons, we like to play a variation of blackjack called Ban Luck. And usually the host of the house is the dealer or the banker. And in my suggestion, I feel like you should set limits. Say, for example, every 20 rounds you change the dealer or every 30 minutes you change the dealer. That will create fairness for everybody and doesn't give the feel of dealer advantage. Dealer fatigue is also a concern. A tired dealer simply means more mistakes and more careless when it comes to dealing and shuffling the cards and all that kind of thing. So rotating the dealer will give a fresh way of shuffling cards and all that, and create fairness and allow that one particular dealer who happens to also be a player rest. Card cheating or advantage play requires time. The card cheat need to track the cards, set up for future hands, and slowly gain advantage over time. One good hand a night does not mean anything, but 10 smaller good hands, well, that will change the outcome. Another reason to rotate the dealer frequently is because if the dealer and the player are in cahoots, they can signal each other easier. They can tell each other to hit, raise, fold, or call, right? Because they already have a system in place. So rotating the dealer frequently reduces that risk. Even casinos rotate their dealers frequently, so why shouldn't you? Next step, watching out for behaviors. A common red flag to watch out for is when the dealer is excessively playing with the cards, riffling the cards this way and all that. It might look innocent at first, but they can actually use it to their own advantage. Say for example, I'm the card cheat and you happen to be my accomplice. I can be looking away, chatting and all that, and then I will riffle the cards this way to show you the next few cards that are coming out. That way, with that information, you already know if you should bet, raise, call or fold, right? And these things are advantage play. Another thing is also when the dealer is also the player. So it's my turn to deal and then I'm also in the game. And same thing, you know, it can be very casual to look down and riffle the cards this way while I'm waiting for action to happen, right? And just riffling the cards this way can give me information. Let me show you, okay? If I hold the cards up to here and if I just riffle the corners here, you can actually see the indexes of the cards like this, right? Hence giving me information of whether I should bet, fold, raise or call. Another red flag you should watch out for is when the dealer/player is touching the cards at inappropriate timings. Let me explain to you what I mean. Okay, say for example now we are in a game of Texas Hold'em. The whole cards are dealt to everyone. At this point, the dealer should put the cards on the table. There was no need for him to touch the cards, okay? Because now one round of betting begins, and after that round of betting, then the dealer picks up the cards, burns the top card, and then deals the flop like this, okay? So technically, this is how it should be played, right? But as the round of betting goes on and the dealer picks up the deck and, you know, starts riffling through them and all that, I can be looking at the cards and knowing the information. That way I can choose whether to bet, fold, call, or raise the pot, okay? So if with those information, these are all like advantage play, which are major red flags for me. Another red flag to watch out for is the players, okay? Say they are dealt the cards this way and they are constantly covering the cards, okay? And just holding on to them, covering the whole cards at all times and all that. It looks very weird, okay? They might not be cheating. You can just simply nicely tell them, oh, please don't cover the cards. You can put something on top so that you can protect the cards and all that kind of thing, but don't cover the cards the whole time. And the reason for that is because they could be scratching the cards underneath, okay, to mark the cards. So at a certain angle where the light shines, you can actually tell what card it is. Another thing they could be doing is also they could be using their fingernails to press down on the edges of the cards to create the marks. That way, when the cards are in play inside the deck, okay, they can see just from the top or the sides whether the cards that they want are in play or they are inside the deck, okay? So these are some of the red flags. Now let's go on to step 9, casinos versus home games. In some casinos, the moment you enter them, your ID is being checked and verified, which means they know who you are. There's surveillance cameras everywhere, which means they can track your every movement. The dealers are trained to shuffle the cards properly, and they have a casino shuffling procedure. Cut cards are non-negotiable. The dealers rotate frequently and take scheduled breaks. Most of the table games, the players are not even allowed to touch the cards, unless you are a high roller or it's a high table minimum. Even so, once the cards are touched, they are never used again. They are usually discarded or torn away. There are supervisors, pit bosses, and surveillance cameras covering every possible angle. These cameras can zoom in and the videos can be played back frame by frame. If casinos with surveillance, trained staff, and rigid rules still cannot eliminate cheating, what chances does your dining table have? Here's my honest opinion. If you are playing for fun, keep it fun. If you are playing for money, set limits. And if something ever feels off, walking away is always an option. Fair games don't require complicated rules. They rely on simple procedures everyone understands. This video won't make card cheating impossible. It simply reduces risk and stops you from being an easy target. In the end, the most important skill isn't about shuffling the cards, dealing the cards, checking the cards, or knowing what to look out for. It is knowing when to walk away. If you found this video useful, subscribe. And please, send this to your friends and family group chat. Because when it comes to protecting yourself against card cheats, knowledge is the real advantage. Lastly, if you ever see me at your card table, run. Don't forget to check out these videos as well. Thank you so much for watching. You guys take care, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.